Welcome to the Movie Draft Podcast. I am Ethan Simi, and today I am joined by my wonderful co-host, Ben Lawhorn.
Hello.
And that's it. It's just Ben. It's just Ben and I.
It's just us.
Two-person pod. Today we are drafting the movies of the Scream franchise in a collaborative draft. Ben, first episode of March. How you doing, man?
I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to talk about what until recently has been one of my favorite franchises. So I think this is going to be fun. And yeah, I'm excited to revisit some of these movies.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about Scream. I am very much in the same boat as you. I'm excited to talk about a franchise that I have a very seemingly complicated relationship now that we have a seventh installment into this franchise, of which there are many problems in the film and outside of the film alike. We will actually talk about Scream 7. We're going to try something a little bit different here on this particular episode, at least. And we are going to review Scream 7. That's our plan. So we're going to talk about Scream 7, and then we will be doing our collaborative draft because it is a 7-movie, 2-person collaborative draft. Now, the last time that this happened was all the way back in episode 33, August 27th of 2024. Almost. Wow. That's like a year and a half ago now.
Yeah, that's a while.
That was a me and Sophie pod. That was celebrating the release of Alien Romulus. We did the entire Alien franchise, just Sophie and myself. So that's the only other time that there has ever been a 2-person collaborative draft. I don't know. I feel like we're kind of making history here.
Yeah, it's interesting franchises to do this for. Obviously, like 2 parts of the triumvirate, coming together again. So I'm excited about that. So yeah, that was a fun draft to listen to. I hope this one is equally as entertaining.
Yeah, I hope it's as equally as entertaining. We are going to kick this episode off with something that was in fact entertaining, and that is the Actor Awards. So we are recording this the day after the Actor Awards happened, of which I will still be calling them the SAG Awards because the Actor Awards sound silly and dumb. And there were some notable wins that I wanted to use our platform to talk about that. We are recording right now, like I said, the day after SAG happened. So we are officially 13 days away from the 2026 Academy Awards. And I watched part of the telecast. I tuned in at the perfect time in which Sean Astin thanked Ted Sarandos and Netflix for sponsoring such an event, which was not ideal. But I did get to hear Harrison Ford's legacy speech. Did you get a chance to tune into Harrison Ford's acceptance speech for his Legacy Lifetime Achievement Award?
No, I saw some of it afterwards, but I didn't see the whole thing. No.
It was really good. It was really, really, really good. And my kids were locked in. We turned it on when we got home from playing with some friends. And the first thing that happened, Harrison Ford gave this incredibly powerful and emotional speech. And of course, they played a long montage of all of his movies. And as soon as Star Wars came on, as soon as Indiana Jones came on, my 7-year-old was like, oh my gosh, that's happening. He plays that person. That's amazing. Yeah. And then my 5-year-old proceeded to say, which of these movies can we watch? And I was like, let's fire up The Fugitive. Let's do it right now.
Let's do Witness right now.
Let's Witness. Let's send it. So that was a great speech. That was really, really fun. The things that I primarily wanted to talk about that I was pestering you to talk about, 2 races in particular. One being supporting actress. Now, I'm not really concerned about leading actress right now. Jessie Buckley won. That was no surprise. She'll win in a couple of weeks. I'm very excited for her, and I think she'll have a wonderful time accepting her award.
And she's won everything, right, so far?
Yeah, she's won it all.
Right, yeah.
She just across the board, one of the lockiest locks that there has been in recent memory for a category. The one that I'm more interested in is the female actor in a supporting role. Now,
gotcha.
This went to Amy Madigan, who plays Aunt Gladys in Weapons. She was nominated against a couple people not nominated for an Academy Award. So that's an interesting kind of energy going on there. But notably won out over Wunmi Mosaku for Sinners and Teyana Taylor for One Battle. I don't subscribe to this line of thinking. I just want to put that out in the open. I'm not a fan.
You're not into it? Did you not like her in Weapons, or you just feel like there are other deserving people?
I don't get it. like, truthfully, I just don't understand the Amy Madigan hype train. It's
Okay.
not something I'm on board, and it's taken off fast.
It really
And
has.
there's a potential that in 13 days it pulls into the station that engraves her Academy Award with her name on it.
Yeah, that'd be really, really interesting. I mean, the other two women you mentioned, I think, are very deserving as well. I liked Amy Madigan in Weapons, but I am surprised that horror just never gets this recognition.
Yeah.
So it's so interesting to me that this is a role that she's being recognized for. But I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting nonetheless. I think that is a big point of it. People are very jazzed about the horror aspect of it. Sean Penn wins for male actor in a supporting role. As soon as this happened, I said, see you in 2 weeks, Sean Penn, you're going to have a nice time with your third Academy Award.
Yeah.
There are some other people out there that think differently. I don't know where you're at. Do you think Sean Penn winning SAG is pretty indicative of what's coming?
Yeah, I would think so. Just given the voting body and who voted on this and how that carries over, it wouldn't surprise me if Sean Penn, takes his third Oscar for sure.
Yeah. I saw something right before we recorded that said one of the smartest campaign moves from one battle after another this whole season has been Sean Penn not doing a single ounce of press and going on to win awards.
Yeah, that's not a bad move at all, for sure. Not
a bad move. I think the sole amount of press that he has gotten was him smoking at the Golden Globes, which really is great stuff. Good content all the way around. The final award that I wanted to talk about, which is the one that I was pestering you about the most. Michael B. Jordan wins for male actor in a leading role. Wins over Chalamet, wins over DiCaprio, wins over Ethan Hawke. Those are 4 of the 5 nominees in that category. Leo has won an award. Chalamet has won an award. And now we have Michael B. Jordan winning an award across Globes, BAFTA, and now SAG. How are you feeling about this race? Where do you think we are going?
I mean, before all the award season started, I guess I felt like Leo had it locked down. To me, that was just my opinion. I was like, I think he's got this for sure. Obviously, to me, taking on Marty Supreme, like there's a lot of great performances. I was happily surprised that Michael B. Jordan won. I didn't know that obviously would happen. Was he nominated for Smoke or Stack? Do you know? Or is it like a dual role nomination? Do they have to pick one?
No, I think it's a dual role. It says Smoke / Stack. Yeah.
Okay, sweet.
That would be so fascinating, though, if they had to choose one of the performances to nominate him for.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. Interesting.
Like
I never thought about
that. Like, do you have to pick? Are you the tether? Or are you the real one? Like, which one gets nominated? But no, I think it's cool. Anything to, make this a little bit more interesting. It's, sometimes it's okay when you know what a lock is, but like this is, I think, going to make it a fun night for sure.
I think it's going to give us a good race, which I'm really excited about. I think the ultimate takeaway here, obviously Wagner Moura not nominated here, nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah.
The takeaway I think so far is it's not Chalamet. That's it. That's the camp that I'm in.
Okay.
I think Chalamet losing SAG is a pretty big blow. I think if Leo would have won SAG, that would have been a huge plus in his direction. But I do think he's been on the outs for Chalamet. Even though I was kind of trying to stick to that prediction for a while. Michael B. Jordan winning this, I think, signals like a lot of acting support for Sinners. And I was talking with someone today at work, like, we're going to get supporting actor and supporting actress first 2 categories on the night of the Oscars. If Delroy Lindo or Wunmi Mosaku wins either of those categories, I think we have a very good shot at Michael B. Jordan winning in his category. And then possibly, if that does transpire, a true split between picture and director, which I know is quite rare, but I think that is the direction that this goes. If Sinners can't pick up anything supporting like it did here, Wagner Moura, maybe, like, I don't never count out Brazil, we've seen it happen. I just don't know. I think it's really interesting. I think it's a great race to be watching.
Yeah, I think it's probably the most fun that we're going to have with this race, like some fantastic performances. And yeah, I think it's going to make the night interesting, especially with, like you said, how we start out with the supporting roles and, what that might indicate later on.
Yeah, it should be pretty fascinating stuff as we go into the Oscars. A movie not nominated for an Oscar because it didn't come out in the year in which we are speaking about would be a Scream film.
Yeah.
I'm curious, Ben. Let's start talking about this franchise. Let's talk about Scream 7. What is your connection to the Scream franchise? Do you remember the first time that you saw a Scream movie?
I do. I didn't see the first one in theaters, more just out of a fear of the horror genre. But I remember seeing it at a sleepover, and that is when my crush for Nev Campbell developed, as you can see on my shirt here.
You love to see it. Yeah.
Love to see it.
Got to represent
here. So yeah, I really enjoy Scream. I remember watching it for the first time. Obviously, like the intro kind of threw me for a loop. I was like, oh, I didn't realize you could do that, and I think that's obviously Scream is cemented as, I think, one of the best horror films of all time for a reason.
Yeah.
I don't know, exactly when I started picking them up in theaters, because I still, it's been until recently that I've really loved horror movies, but I've always enjoyed the Scream movies, just usually in the comfort of my own home. But I think they're super fun. As a film lover, as I'm sure a lot of people are that listen to this, it is fun with the meta commentary of it all. I think it, kind of, we all have a little bit of Randy in us, possibly, but yeah, I really enjoy this franchise. For the most part, like what they've done each time has been interesting and fun.
Yeah.
And then Scream 7. So yeah, here we are.
I think it's a great lead up to where we're at on Scream 7, which should be a fascinating review before we get into the collaborative draft here. I think Scream, can you remind me? So we have not talked about Scream on this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking back at our schedule and our calendar. We have not done a Scream centric episode, but I know that I watched Scream for podcasts with you. Is this something we did over on 24 Minutes of Not A24? I think we were doing some franchise work over there.
That's possible, or maybe prep for like the franchise draft, or
sure, yeah, very possible.
Just like general horror. I'm not sure. Yeah.
I remember seeing Scream. I have no clue when I first saw Scream. I'd have to go back to my Letterboxd and see the first time I logged it, because that would have been the first time that I saw it. Let's see what we're working with here. Tuesday, October 20th, 2020. So five years ago. I don't stand by my star rating, so let that be known. If you
I'm happy to hear that. What is it?
If you seek this review, I don't subscribe. I'm a changed man.
Okay. You're a different person. We all are.
I'm a different person.
Long time ago.
Exactly. Scream is growing on me. I understand Scream now, or I thought I did until this past weekend. I gave it 2.5 stars, and that's a tragedy. I don't know what was going on in my head. I rewatched it almost 4 years later to the day, October 19th, which is very strange. And I bumped it up. I said Nev Campbell can stab me with an umbrella anytime she wants. So it seems like I came around well on that one. Yeah, I remember watching the franchise for something we were doing, and it must have been prep for something. And I actually think it was like prep for 6. I think I was like, okay, this is my chance. Like Scream 6 is coming out. I'm going to get in now, because I had never seen 2, 3, 4, or 5. It just wasn't something that I grew up with. I mean, I was 2 years old when it came out. I wasn't a horror kid. Like, I wasn't big on that kind of stuff. But I'm glad that I can enjoy it now. And I do plan to show my children my 5-year-old Scream tonight. So we'll see how that goes over after we watch The Fugitive. Let's talk about the latest installment of Scream 7. This is a movie that exists, that is here. And I don't know, man. I don't know. Let me read what the logline is. Okay. And then I do just want to give a heads up. Full spoiler territory. This is it. Spoilers for Scream 7. Spoilers for every other Scream movie. If you haven't seen all the Scream movies, if you don't want to know who the Ghostface is, if you don't want to hear us talk about them, tune out, go tune in, and then tune back in to this pod. Yep. I think it's probably the best way to do that. Scream 7, directed by Kevin Williamson, came back. He worked on Scream 1. They brought him back to this project to basically help reestablish where the franchise was going to go. When a new Ghostface killer emerges in the quiet town where Sidney Prescott has built a new life, her darkest fears are realized as her daughter becomes the next target. Determined to protect her family, Sidney must face the horrors of her past to put an end to the bloodshed once and for all. What did you think of Scream 7, Ben?
Can I read to you my Letterboxd review?
Please. Oh my gosh. I would love nothing more.
I gave it 2 stars, which felt a little generous.
Okay.
And my review was Gorefest, Borefest. Because it kind of felt like both of those things. Like, this is the goriest Scream that we've had, which I don't really think is necessary. That's not what this franchise is for. Like, we get plenty of blood and kills and stuff, but like some of the stuff we saw in here really felt excessive. Like, I don't think we need any of this that's going on right now. And you know, I mean, I saw some people's reviews online, so this isn't like my original idea, but someone mentioned that it's like it's written or it plays out like a fanfic, which it kind of does. I think one good thing that Scream had done in the past is been a meta reference on the horror genre as a whole, and now this one just kind of felt like a meta on itself, like on just the Scream franchise, which to me, it just really reduced it, and it made it not as effective. To me, this is like the worst Ghostface reveal that we've ever had. Like,
it's truly abysmal. It's really,
again,
really
like,
dumb.
We're in spoiler territory, but like all 3 of them are just like, none of it really makes sense to me. Like, we know, we never really find out like why Ethan Embry is involved in this. He doesn't get a chance to even like make his bad guy monologue. He's just like kill. And then the monologue that we do get from Anna Camp is just like, you aren't in New York, so I'm
mad at you.
Right. Yeah. It's just like, okay, that's weird. So yeah, I don't know. Like, it's hard to see one of your favorite things like kind of take a downturn. Like, oh, this is a bummer. Yeah, I didn't love it at all. Like, so much stuff felt forced. Like, the fact that Gail and the twins are there, it's like there's really no reason for you guys to be here at all, but we gotta get you here, obviously, like your characters, but like it just wasn't a good reason in my eyes. I don't know. I didn't love it, to be completely honest.
There's a moment in Scream 7 in which Gail and the twins show up, and when they show up, they essentially hit what is the first Ghostface.
Yeah.
With their car, with their van. When this moment happened, I laughed so loudly, and I wasn't scared. I didn't think it was clever, and I didn't appreciate the legacy stance that this movie is taking of like, Gail's back. She always comes back. I know. And I guess I felt like I felt like Scream was a scary movie at that moment in time, like literally, because we got a trailer for Scary Movie 6 before this movie. Yeah. And I was like, oh, this is something that would happen in Scary Movie. Pretty much nothing about this movie worked for me. I think you're right on the money. It's so boring. This movie is so astoundingly boring, where it is a complete tonal nightmare in how seriously Neve Campbell's return is supposed to be taken as Sidney, who is now not Sidney Prescott, but Sidney Evans. She makes a very clear point of that in the movie, who is married to Joel McHale. Let's just put that out in the open, which I think is so strange to me that the first time you see Joel McHale, he's like, is my daughter and her boyfriend fucking? And it's like, my guy, let's relax a little bit for a second. This is obviously hearkening very strong to Scream 1. Like, Sidney's daughter's boyfriend climbs in the window and we have a house chase, and like it cold opens in the original house in which Stu Macher and Billy Loomis carried out their plans. It has now been like turned into a museum, which, can I say, like, I think we're going to talk about this as we do our collaborative rankings. Scream has like an introduction problem. Sometimes they work really, really, really well, and then they can't get the rest of the movie to work, which is a little frustrating. Scream 7 in particular, you mentioned like how pivotal Scream 1 was for the genre and for the franchise. we just know people are going to die in the opening sequence now.
Yeah.
That's not fun. Like, it's just not fun. It's not. And I think what this movie wanted to do, which is like have this such great connection to legacy. And like, again, we're in spoiler territory, but like we see Dewey for a minute, David Arquette. We see Laurie Metcalf show up as Billy's mom through AI. We see Stumacher come back and like supposedly be alive. It's really ineffective at this point in time. For a franchise that's 7 movies in, we have got to move past this legacy idea, and we're not going anywhere, and we're not doing anything cool with that legacy idea. The last thing that I wanted to call out for this movie as a whole is like, it's like, hey, AI can be used to reincarnate a ghost face killer. That's an interesting idea. Let's dive into that. And then how do we dive into that? One random teenage boy says, fuck AI. And that's about that. Incredibly weak stuff from this movie all the way around.
Yeah. As we were driving home, my partner brought up, and I think it's a really good point, that I feel like this movie has the foundations for some interesting ideas, like Sydney trying to protect her daughter from the trauma that she went through, kind of like reliving it again, boyfriend coming through, all that kind of stuff. That like there's interesting ideas there, using AI in this digital age to like, bring people back from the dead. Like, again, that could be interesting, but yeah, I think everything just got bungled. You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't work. It's kind of, and I don't know. So this was also like directed by Kevin Williamson, who wrote the original Scream. I think if I remember correctly, he wrote Scream 1, 2, 4, and 7 are the ones that he was involved with, if I remember correctly.
Let's see. 1, 2, 4, and 7. He, of course, did write as well I Know What You Did Last Summer from 1997, which also had a reboot last year, kind of in the same vein as this reboot. He is currently tagged as writing Scream 8 and directing Scream 8.
That's a bummer. Because like, I mean, the other thing I was going to say is like, this is the first thing he's directed since 1999, a movie called Teaching Mrs. Tingle. I think I haven't seen it, but I'm like, oh, I think maybe there's a reason that it's been 27 years since you've directed something. Yeah. And just because you gave us a good idea for the beginning doesn't necessarily mean you should helm this like franchise anymore. So I don't know. There's let's also not gloss over the Melissa Barrera of it all. And
important to note. Thank
them
you.
Just like ousting her wrongly, which was insane for the stuff, like the wonderful stuff that she posted, them just being like, no, let's get out of here. It's just like, listen, you guys, like this, you guys really fucked up. So I understand everybody that's boycotting this movie. I totally support that. So yeah, I don't know. I wish none of that had happened, because I'm very curious what 7 could have been, but this is what we got.
I agree. The directing is completely soulless and uninspired, and it is not like, it's just not good, frankly. And yeah, I'm glad you called that out. Obviously, like I mentioned, there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff going on with Scream 7 as well. Melissa Barrera basically came out on social media as pro-Palestine, and everybody involved with Scream 7 was like, no, and fired her accordingly, which is fucking insane and truly terrible, because she's great in 5 and 6. And I thought she brings an interesting perspective to the franchise, which we will talk about here in just a second. Jenna Ortega basically, more or less came out in support of her and was fired as well from this project. And then I think they scrambled and brought Nev back and paid her a lot of money. And it just didn't really work kind of on any front. I didn't think really anything about this movie was good. To that effect, before we start our collaborative draft, I want to hear from you. Scream 8, which will inevitably be made, because we are recording this the Monday after opening weekend for Scream 7. It's already crossed $100 million worldwide. It's doing great business. People love Scream. They, for better and for worse, will turn out for a Scream movie, especially one in which Nev Campbell is very prominently on the poster after it's been 4 years since the last installment. Your perfect Scream movie, if you get the chance to make Scream 8, what's it looking like? What's your plot devices? What's your story for Ghostface? give me the Ben Scream special here.
Here's the thing. Some of these ideas might be good. I don't know that all of them are, but I have a very specific thing that I want to achieve with these movies. I would love for Melissa and Jenna to come back. I don't know, like they could be beyond the franchise now, and I wouldn't blame them at all for not coming back.
Yep.
But I do think they brought some interesting energy to 5 and 6. Having rewatched these for the prep for this, I would like them to come back, and I would like well, Melissa Blair Sam. I would like her to be Ghostface. I would like her to live out.
Yeah.
Billy Loomis, like everything that they've been leading up to in these movies. It's like, cool. You know what? I want you to get revenge for your dad on Sydney. Like that's what I want to have happen here.
That would be so good.
I think it'd be fun for sure. I don't know if Jenna's like the other Ghostface or like how we get someone else involved. It's lately it feels like it's a lot of people. It's people avenging the deaths of other people. So it's like, all right, well, who could it be? Obviously, like we could meet some long lost relative of Dewey or something like that. But like, I want to give Melissa the opportunity to like come back and let's figure out who the final girl is. You know what I mean? Like, is it Sydney or is it Sam? Like, whatever. Here's my goal for this movie, though. My real goal for this movie is I want to kill Gail and the twins so bad. Like, just get rid of them. I'm so sick of them. Like, they got destroyed. They got destroyed in 6, like stabbed to death quite literally. And then all of a sudden it's like, nah, we're okay. It's like, what are you talking about? Like the brother specifically, like he had 2 Ghostface on either side of him and they were just like taking turns going to town on his torso. And then at the end of the movie, it's like he's just getting wheeled out. It's like, you got to be kidding me. Like, we need some stakes here. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I feel like we're missing here. Dewey was big in 5. That was a huge loss for sure. And it felt like we should have had someone else in 6. And it's just like nothing happened really. You know what I mean? Of any significance. And that I think just went even like double in this movie where I don't know that I cared about anybody that died. I don't know that we like knew any of them or anything like that. So it's just like, all right, whatever, like that's totally fine. So that's my goal. I think Sydney has to live just because she is the final girl, you know what I mean? But Gail and the twins,
gotta
adios, you're out of here.
Get him out of here. This is Mason Gooding's character of Chad. And then his like I guess twin sister. So I agree with you that we gotta put some stakes back in this movie. And I was thinking, I think that's part of why Randy's death works so good in Scream 2, right? It's Scream 2, where basically he gets pulled into a van and he dies. And that's it. And then we just move on. And I think that's like pretty good stuff. This franchise has really gotten away from like, that idea of being able to take risks or chances.
Yeah. I
think a really bad idea, which like they've already started doing with these twins, where they're like, Randy's our uncle. And it's like, okay, you can write in like anybody. You could be like, they're my long lost sister. You could do that, like, and see where that goes. I think it's a little cheap to do that. I want to go what you said. I think the only direction this franchise can go would be to kill Sydney. Yeah. And I think someone has to realize that on the creative team, that you have to make your final girl either Ghostface herself or actually die. Now would have been the time to do it at 7. And then you can have like a hard reboot for 8. I think it would be great if Sam would come back in 8 and basically enact her vengeance and say like, this is for Billy, because we do get that at the end of 6 where she's like, that felt good. And it's like, great. Like, I love where we're going with this. And then obviously it doesn't exist right now. Here's my Scream. Now, I don't have any connection to the characters. I'm so tired of Legacy. We got to overhaul this thing.
Yeah.
No Sydney, no Gail. We're just going hard reboot for Scream 8.
Okay.
The only stipulations with this, number 1, cast somebody famous. And this is one of the complaints of 7. It's like, where Anna Camp is on the poster, and it's like, okay, the killer is not going to be Sydney, who's on the poster. The killer is not going to be Gail, who's on the poster. The killer is not going to be X, Y, and Z. Anna Camp got to be the killer. Like, it just checks out. She's a big enough star, et cetera, et cetera. You got to cast somebody really good and famous to like bring juice to this franchise again. But the caveat with that is you got to go dark on the marketing. This will never happen. I understand.
Yeah.
You got to give one teaser. You got to say Scream 8 coming out October 15th, 2027 or 2028. You got to give one teaser. You give one poster. You don't do any press. You don't do shit. And you keep everybody in the dark and you rekindle the fascination with what the original Scream movie was, which is who the fuck is the killer? That's what matters the most. A lot of these movies we're going to talk about here in just a second are like turn into really heavy, like neo-noir crime giallo movies, which like have their benefits, but are ultimately not about like who is the killer. And I think we kind of lose that. The one thing that I want to employ for Scream 8 is, obviously we know from Legacy, there are generally always two killers, and they're always working together. Yeah. Except for Scream 3, which kind of did what you just said, where it's just like, oh shit, Sydney's got a brother, and like this is interesting. I'm veering off that. I'm going hard left. I want 3 Ghostface killers, no connection to any of them. I want 3 random Ghostface killers who all go after either Sydney or Sam or somebody new, right? A new generation or what have you. And they all are random people that happened to go after these people at the same time. Now, at the end of every act, you get a reveal of that Ghostface. So you're being held on by this carrot and stick that's like, okay, I want to know who all 3 of these people are. Now I know one of them, but who are the other 2? And we keep going all the way through the movie. And that's kind of the point. I think Scream is so bottled up in this, like, you have to be part of the net and you have to be part of like the web of Sidney Prescott and Gale Weathers. And like, you have to be in that zone.
Yeah.
I just want 3 fucking kind of nobodies who are just like, that's the point of these movies is like, I saw Stab. I grew really obsessed with these ideas of the Woodsboro murders. And now I want to kill and I want to do the same thing. And I think that's what makes some of like 4 and 5 really interesting is that it is in that vein. So I just want to wipe the slate clean and I want to do something really like just different with the franchise because I think where it's going is just not working at all.
Yeah, I think that'd be super interesting with the timing of it all, like having them all happen at the same time. Yeah, it makes me wonder. Here's a strange comparison for you that you probably won't expect from me, but makes me think of the Batman and Riddler and like mobilizing all these guys. No, for real though, but like he's mobilizing all these people.
Right.
I wonder if like, if like there's a version of a Ghostface that could be mobilizing other people, you know.
This is a great idea. This is so interesting that you mentioned that. And I know we're going to draft. I swear to God, we have to draft because we have a podcast we're recording. That's another week's episode in 45 minutes. So we have to draft. But this is interesting because in my Letterboxd review for Scream 7, I wrote, we got to Last Jedi this thing. We got to sunset the legacy and we got to move forward. Now, obviously, Rise of Skywalker didn't work, and that is its own different story post Last Jedi. That's really fascinating that you say that, though, because what does The Last Jedi have in common with what you just said about the Batman? It's got Snoke, and Snoke is pulling the strings with Kylo and the First Order and all of these ideas. What if there was a world in which, like, there is now an underground cult of Ghostface killers, and there's one person kind of pulling the string? Like, make it interesting. Don't just make it a fucking neighbor who is mad at Sydney for not being around.
Who checked herself into a mental hospital.
And murdered her husband and her kid. She was just like, I murdered my kid. He was too much like his father. And then we moved on.
That was it.
Scream 7 sucks, man. Yeah. Scream 7 stinks. It's not good. Okay. Let's talk about other Scream movies.
Let's do it.
Because we're here to draft. This is the movie draft podcast after all. So we've got 7 movies that we're going to be talking about in a collaborative style draft. Whatever the strategy is to get your list or work together. We haven't discussed this at all. I have privated my ranked Scream list on Letterboxd. Nobody knows. unless they've been tracking my Letterboxd. I have a lot of these movies at 3.5 stars, so it might be hard to figure out where I'm going to go with this. But we're going to have one board essentially ranking the entirety of the Scream franchise. As always, with these drafts, a special shout out to Screen Drafts, wonderful podcast that has influenced this draft layout. Did you rewatch any movies in prep for this collaborative draft?
The only one I didn't rewatch was Scream, was the first one. That's because I feel fine with that. I feel like I've watched that enough times. Like
Sure.
I didn't need to rewatch it. So, but I 2 through 6 I rewatched.
Yeah, so bad you don't want to revisit. Totally makes sense.
So bad, yeah.
Okay. Similarly, I actually did rewatch the original Scream. Watched it with Molly, my partner, and I watched the whole franchise.
Nice.
So take that for what it's worth. I watched 5, 6, and 7 in the span of like 36 hours.
Damn. Okay.
I see the light at the end of the Scream tunnel when this pod is over, and I got to be honest. Not looking forward to having to do this again for Scream 8. Not
For
great.
sure.
Some of these movies not as good as I remember. Some of them more fascinating than I recall. Yeah. So I think my ideas on them have changed a little bit. Do you want to explain the picks and the abilities? Because this is a very unique 2-person situation here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you guys are in the same position with the Alien draft where we only have 7 movies to pick from. So we will do the Wheel of Death to see who gets to pick which position they want. But we're just going to be rotating picks back and forth. So drafter A will get picks 7, 5, 3, and 1. Mm-hmm. But 1 will kind of be chosen for them because that will be whatever is left over. And drafter B will get picks 6, 4, and 2. We each will have a veto that we can use. Obviously, that will only be used if we're trying to bump up the movie higher because we're not bumping anything off of this list. So it's really only if we think something is played too low that we will utilize one of our vetoes.
Yeah, that sounds good. And, regular cadence on the you get to choose your position if you're spun on the spinner first. I guess there's a little bit less stakes because there's only 2 of us. But this is how it's going to go down. Any other thoughts before we kick off the Scream collaborative draft here?
No, let's head to Woodsboro. Let's do it.
Okay, let's head to Woodsboro and just do some more ghost facing for the umpteenth time. What do you want for your position? Because there's definitely one that I want.
Oh, I'm the same. So maybe we both keep it to ourselves in case we both want the same thing. Yeah, there's definitely one that I want, but
the level of competition in something like this is unique, to say the least. There's a little bit less dynamic because we don't have a third person. There's not movies that are off the board or anything. Like, everything will be played. There's really 2 stances to take on this, in my opinion. Number 1 is like, cool, as long as we like know what 1 and 7 and maybe 6 are, like it's kind of a wash in the middle, and you could go that route. Or there might be a darling that one of us have where we're just like, we got to bump that up. You could play a little strategy on that.
I think I'm more on the first camp as much as I'm willing to admit. I feel like there's a clear 1 and a clear 7 that might be tied to their release order as well. But I'm very curious.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how 2 through 6 goes.
What if we just win up the board? What if we were just like 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? Like, we're good with that.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Could happen. Who's to say? We'll try and talk about each Scream movie in kind of like a high level review as well, and maybe some of the reveals and some of the connections to the legacy and why we don't like them. Yeah.
Should we spin?
I think we should spin. I think we should draft. We should do the Scream collaborative draft here. Okay.
All right.
Here we go. I really hope I get to pick because one of these positions is notably better than the other. Damn it!
Oh. Take it. I kind of wanted you to pick, to be completely honest.
Really?
You know what? Go ahead. You pick. I'll give it to you.
I have to abide by the wheel, Ben. I can't change. If I change the rules now, it opens the floodgates for future guests.
What if I pass my turn and now it's your turn?
I don't think you can pass.
Okay.
Can't be done.
Right.
This is a cement brick wall. Cannot be broken down. Not even by
Then
Ghostface.
I will take Drafter B.
Okay. I had the chance. I gave it to you.
Is that the one
so.
you wanted as well?
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Drafter B is it. Drafter A is essentially 2 picks. You get 5 and 3. It's pretty much where we're at with that. But yeah, I mean, you still get a veto. This could pan out. We'll see how it goes. So I'm gonna have 7, 5, 3, and 1, and a single veto, and you are gonna get 6, 4, and 2. We're just gonna kind of go back and forth here, talking about Scream movies.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think we should continue our conversation. And in the 7 spot, I'm going to be putting Scream 7.
Yeah.
I'd be really surprised if you had any objection to this.
No, I think this is, as we've been discussing, clearly like the worst of the franchise so far. I mean, it's interesting that it's performing so well, like box office wise, like that it's like making its money back. I was kind of surprised by that a little bit. But I think there's also this element maybe of being too online and too in film Twitter and stuff, and just not taking into account just the public who are just like, oh, cool, Nev's back, I want to go see it, like not thinking about everything else. So, yeah, one of my bigger gripes with this one, I know we've talked about it already, but like just the goriness, like it felt excessive compared to the other films, even from the opening kill where the knife goes in the temple and you see his eye like move with it. I'm like, oh, that's really kind of interesting. We haven't seen anything necessarily that intense before. And then, at the school, the play, and she's hung up, and then the very end, Ghostface kill. Like, there's just a lot of goriness in this film that the others just didn't have. There's plenty of blood in the other movies, but this one was just something else. So, yeah, I don't know. It didn't necessarily work for me. I just didn't feel like this isn't necessarily what I came here for. So, whatever. But obviously, it's working for some people. But I think this clearly is the last place.
Yeah, I think it is pretty clear. Is there anything about Scream 7 that you liked? Is there anything that you would want to like retain for a future installment, or maybe like check out on YouTube when it hits? Anything like that?
This is a bummer answer, but I don't think so. Like, I don't know. Like, Joel McHale felt like he was wearing a rented outfit. You know what I mean? Like, he did not fit in those clothes. Like, he's never worn that before.
Not at all.
Yeah, he felt really miscast, and that's another one. Like, he lived. Are you kidding me? Like, there's just no way.
Yeah, it's getting to a point. You mentioned Mason Gooding's character, like getting stabbed in 6. He gets stabbed like 100 times. Yeah. He shows up in Scream 7 and he's like, let's rock and roll. I'm walking around. I'm holding the camera. Yeah. That dude would be fucking paralyzed. Like sure. he is down. Like he has serious nerve damage. It's just, I don't understand.
It's kind of wild. Yeah.
I know a lot of people are saying they're a fan of like the kitchen sequence and the kill, and kind of, like hanging the head on the like the pour spout for the beer
tap. Yeah.
I thought that was really not interesting at all. Like when beer started pouring out of the dead person's mouth with blood, it looked bad, and also I thought it was just like not in line with Ghostface, to be honest. Like, that's not what Ghostface is about.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting. And the whole kitchen thing was like, am I watching Jurassic Park? Like, it feels like Jurassic Park, but it's Ghostface instead of a velociraptor, But
yeah. It's too bad. There are not many redeeming qualities to Scream 7. And I think the first movie that has given Neve Campbell the ability to like be the final girl at the center of the screen. And I just don't really know what's going on. McKenna Grace's kill when she's strung up and Ghostface kind of slices her open, kind of cool. I could get with that a little bit.
Yeah.
But after that, they're just like, all right, cool. Let's all hang out in the auditorium while Joel McHale is like, I'll wrap it up. Don't worry.
Don't worry. I'll take care of things.
It was so weird.
Yeah.
Okay. Scream 7 in the 7 spot. That's a waste of one of my picks.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I'm interested to see where you go next, though.
Yeah, I'm curious how much we overlap from here to 2. But what I am going to play is Scream 3 here at the 6th spot.
Oh, what? In the 6th spot? Ben? Yeah. No,
you enjoy Scream 3?
I don't enjoy Scream 3, but it's better than some others, no?
I mean, not in my opinion. Like, it's a 2.5 stars for me.
Okay.
Again, like my letterbox review is Parker Posey's innocent because like she's never a bad thing in a movie, so I enjoyed having her in there. This one is essentially set
Okay.
around the filming of Stab 3,
Yeah.
where again we kind of they rebuild the house set, and so there's like some of that dynamic to it where we relive the Mocker house attacks, but it's just inside a studio lot. The reveals kind of strange to me just to have like a long lost
Yeah.
brother and like okay, all right, like I get if you were hung up on this kind of stuff. So um Courtney Cox's bangs, that's a bummer. That's a bummer throughout this film. But
Yeah.
um
Is Scream 3 the most meta of any of the Scream movies? Because basically it starts with Scream being about like horror movies, right? And like now we're
yeah.
living in one. Scream 2 is like, guys, these are the rules for a sequel and we all need to be aware of them, which is meta. Scream 3 is like literally like, let's go to Hollywood and make a stab movie, but it's also happening. And we're gonna
Mhm.
cast Carrie Fisher, and she's gonna be like, "I'm not Carrie Fisher. I just look like her."
Yeah, exactly. Like, no, I'm not the one. And we get a Jay and Silent Bob cameo.
Yeah,
There were a couple things I did like, which are like when they're in the studio and Jenny McCarthy is like in the same room as the whole rack of Ghostface. Like that's kind of an interesting
it's good.
idea.
Very giallo to like to confine and put things like that in a room
Yeah.
that could all possibly be where it's coming from.
Yeah, exactly.
I like
And we
that.
got like a version of that in 6 on the subway train where
Yeah.
everyone's in mass and things like that. And that's effective to me because like, okay, who is it? We don't know which one it is. And then I did enjoy the sequence of like the killer sending the script, like faxing it a page at a time to tell them what he's gonna do next. Like I
In the
thought that was kind
house.
of funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like sending the fax,
He,
like, all right, this is kind of funny. So yeah,
so that works. I actually like that part of the movie, but then
yeah,
I lose interest real fast after the faxing because the house blows up, and I'm like, Ghostface would never blow up a house, guys. Like
yeah,
that's
yeah,
way too big for what
yeah,
we're
for
trying to
sure.
accomplish here. But I get like we're in Hollywood, we're making a movie. Like I kind of get that. We get a Patrick Warburton kind of
Mhm.
moment of stardom here in some really great tiny glasses, which I think is a
Yeah.
pretty fun for Scream 3 or Scream 3. I have a question for you regarding Scream 3. I'm not
Hit
going to
me.
challenge this in this part. I would put it up a little bit higher in the list.
Mhm.
Just for like the campy feature-ness and like
Okay.
it is the only one with Parker Posey. We love
Yep.
Parker Posey, you
Love
know.
her.
Innocent as you mentioned. Here's my question for you though. Would you watch 100% Cotton? This is the Jerry Springer-esque show in which Liev Schreiber's character of Cotton Weary has now moved to Hollywood and is a local star in some form or capacity as he opens, the cold open of Scream
Yeah.
3.
I'm sure in 2000 I would have watched this. Yeah, without a
It
doubt.
seems
When
like
this
a
movie
Ben
came
show
out,
for sure.
yeah, I would have
Yeah.
watched it. To that point, though, I wrote in my notes like for me, this is the weakest intro of the whole franchise. Is
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Cotton and his girlfriend. Like it just, yeah, I didn't.
Yeah.
It's to me, it's the weakest of them. But yeah,
Yeah, I could see that. It doesn't really have much staying power. I think
yeah,
to have Liev Schreiber back for the cold open is cool. Like I think that's a great connector and a great idea. But like you said, like I don't know. I feel like some of the cast in this one's a little weird too. Like Patrick Dempsey is just like this cop who is misstyled and does not look good in the slightest, and is like, "Go in my desk. There's a gun in there."
yeah.
And that's a whole thing. Yeah, Scream 3 is forgettable, which is unfortunate.
Yes, I agree with that 100%. So that's
Okay.
why I have it down here.
Okay, Scream 3. I gave it 3 stars.
Okay.
I wanted to like it more than I did, but I think you're right. I think like it unfortunately enters territory that is too self-aware and too campy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Scream 3 off the board. Right, where are we going to go now? I've got the 5 pick. This I could make some decisions here. Finally, get to do something in this
we can
draft.
make some moves here. I'm excited to see what
Let's
you
make
do.
some moves. Let's make some moves. Okay, I got to go back to my list. All right, I had Scream 3 a little bit higher on mine, but I'm going to go with my heart here. And I am actually going to be putting Scream 6 here in the 5 spot.
Mm,
I feel like this could
interesting.
be a little controversial, a little divisive. This is obviously the installment, comes out in 2023, stars Melissa Barrera, Jenna Ortega coming back after Scream 5, and Ghostface has moved to New York
Yeah.
and basically has followed the survivors to New York. And like you mentioned, we get Mason Gooding's character, and we get all of these kind of characters coming back. There are a lot of good sequences in 6.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned the subway sequence, which I think is among some of the best in the franchise. I just want to be very clear with that.
Okay.
It works so well, and it's so good and frightening. And that is ultimately, to me, what the Scream franchise is really good about, is like anybody could be Ghostface. That's the whole thing. To that effect, I think that this movie is the Ghostface reveal kind of sucks, and I don't like it. I didn't have as good of a time revisiting it as I did in the theater when I saw it in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I'm just getting more annoyed at IP or movies in general. But I think the opening is actually really cool.
Yes.
And then the rest of the movie stinks. This is the opening with Samara Weaving and Tony Revolori.
Mm-hmm.
Basically him murdering her, going back to his place, and come to find out him and his roommate are wanting to be the next Ghostface, and the real Ghostface comes and offs them instead.
Yeah.
Which was pretty cool. Henry Czerny of Mission Impossible fame in this installment. Good stuff.
Very good stuff. This was an interesting one where we got, is this like the earliest we've ever gotten a Ghostface reveal? Like it's in the intro, like Tony Revolori takes off the mask. We're like, oh, okay. So this is our Ghostface. Obviously it doesn't last for long, but
I find that fascinating because that's kind of what I was like talking about. This is what I mentioned in my Letterboxd review as well, where it's like, I think they do interesting things in the cold open. We're going to talk about Scream 4. We're obviously going to talk about Scream 1. And I think they have some great ideas there. And I think like doing a Ghostface reveal so early in the movie, you're like, oh shit. Like, is this our Ghostface now? Like, do we know who our Ghostface is? Which I think would be another like interesting direction for the franchise to go. Like, what if we knew who the Ghostface was, but our characters didn't know who Ghostface was? That adds so much tension to the story because anything could happen at any moment if you know who's capable of doing it. Nonetheless, I really like this opening, but then the movie to me like kind of just is a Scream 7 light where it's like a lot of this time is just spent with boring exposition about why we should care about characters that we actually never end up caring about.
Interesting. I will say part of me wants to veto this because I like this one.
Okay.
I think this is a good one. I think 6 is good.
You can veto it if you want. I'm more than happy to collaborate, brother.
Well, I don't know what you would replace it with, and that's my concern. You know what I mean? Maybe.
Yeah, that's tough because what I would replace it with, I feel like it would be disservice to put it at 5.
Well, now I'm intrigued, so I'm going to veto Scream 6.
Wow. So much intrigue for such a small amount of movies. Holy cow. Okay. Well, good
to your
veto.
point, just one thing I want to say is that I talked about this with my partners who were coming back from the movie, that I think what Scream does well, in my opinion, for the most part, is it's a good first time watch and a good rewatch, because like the first time when you don't know what's going on or who Ghostface is, it's like the whodunit aspect of it is interesting. And then I think it's fun to go back and watch it when you know, like, especially like Billy and Stu, when you're watching one again, like, oh, okay, they're kind of giving it away here, but they don't get caught. Like, and it's interesting. I do think that is kind of where 6 is the weakest, is with the reveal of who the Ghostface are. Cause I'm like, man, you're really pulling at strings here for this connection. Like, I don't like, you swapped out your dead daughter's body. Like, that's just because you're a cop. Like, that's crazy that you were able to do that. You know, like there's some stuff that really just like stretches the limits of imagination and believability. But I do like the movie basically until we get to that like fan shrine kind of thing. I enjoy it. So I want to see it a little higher.
Okay. Dermot Mulroney in this movie is way overacting, and it's super fucking annoying. Like, I'm generally a fan of his. It's terrible. I think the reveal is annoying. Obviously, this is Jack Campion, who is, Spider in the Avatar franchise. I think still can't act in this movie, which is unfortunate. I like the idea of like it being two of their roommates and how people kind of get close. And I think what we talked about earlier with Sam's character seeing visions of her dad, of Billy Loomis, and encouraging her at the end to basically don the Ghostface mask.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of good stuff there, but I think it gets way bogged down by like an ending monologue that is way overdone and overwrought and all of the things. Okay. So Scream 6, not going there. Wow. Again, so
who
much
thought
intrigue.
we'd be using a veto?
Yeah, didn't see this coming. Okay, well, I'm going to be putting Scream 5. This is Scream from 2022. This is really, I guess, like the reboot of the franchise. It takes an 11-year break after Scream 4. This is the one that features Melissa Barrera, Jenna Ortega for the very first time, and introduces Jack Quaid, who is then revealed to be part of the Ghostface duo.
Yes.
And the other Ghostface is Mikey Madison. Now, this is a pretty great use of Mikey Madison. This is really her first, after Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, this is like her first big movie. And I think she's really good here. And I think her energy is really, really good. I like this movie. Like, I don't think it's bad. I just think compared to a couple other entries, it's okay. But I gotta be honest, by the time that I got around to rewatching this movie, I was like, okay, I'm good on Scream.
Okay, all right.
So I don't know if I have a lot to add here.
No, it's totally fair. I think this is the one they just called Scream, even though it was Scream 5 and just made it more confusing. One of the things I did like about this, again, is like at this point, they've got to subvert our expectations, and they did by not killing Jen Ortega at the beginning. She is the intro. Yeah. She is the cold open, and we're kind of left to believe like, oh, damn, she's gone. Okay. They did it. They pulled it off. Like, someone who we thought was going to star in this movie is out of here. That's wild. And then it's not much longer where it's like, actually, she lived. I'm like, okay, well, fuck you. It's like, I thought, all right, that's fine.
Is this the one where she spends time in the hospital? She's like in the hospital a really long time. Okay.
Yeah, basically.
This is, of course, notable because this is Dewey's death in the franchise here.
Yes.
This is where Dewey dies. I kind of like how he goes back and he's like, I got to shoot him in the head. By the time we get to Scream 7, just fucking shoot him in the head. I don't need to hear you say it 18 times. I got it. I know. I've watched the franchise.
Exactly.
So I think that's a little tough to get to. But I will say the opening sequence of this with Jen Ortega tackles some really interesting things in regards to the Scream franchise as a whole. This is where we get her basically being questioned, where she's like, I like elevated horror. I like The Witch. I like The Babadook. I like these other types of movies. And I think it's really smart for the franchise to reboot and recognize that the genre has changed in the time that it has been gone, and to put that on. And of course, like, cap this movie with her being like, I still like The Babadook the best. Good take. Babadook is great, but I think there's some good stuff there.
I agree. I like Mikey Madison's great. We have our first Academy Award winning Ghostface, like she's fantastic. I think she does a great job. I think Jack Quaid plays the role like he should. And it's just like, it's like, okay, obviously, like, that's the one. Got it. So I enjoy, is it Mindy? Is she the twin?
Yep.
I like her explaining the whole requel thing. It felt very Randy. Of just like, all right, let me tell you how the requel goes.
It's good.
The legacy
it's good
stuff.
in this Scream. It's not good in Scream 7.
Yeah, no, totally, 100%. Like we just needed it in 5. Like that was it. That's all we needed. So I'm with you.
It's really fascinating because like this is ultimately where, even in just this one installment, we're like, okay, Melissa Barrera's character as Sam is the most complex and thematically interesting of any character we've ever gotten in this franchise.
Yes, 100%.
We see it in 6 as well, and then obviously they just throw it away, which is incredibly frustrating for a franchise. But like what Jack Quaid's character does which is the boyfriend, which I will say as a franchise, we have got to stop doing the boyfriend thing. I know, I get it. I understand that we're self-aware, but like, we got to move past that. Playing as Richie with him basically just being like, it was so easy to get you to like fall in love with me and sleep with me. Like, even that is interesting as a character because she's going through her own shit, learning that Billy is her father. And like, I think there's a lot of good stuff there, but that's too bad that this is a slow on this list. You know, you caused this.
I made it happen, unfortunately. All right. At the halfway spot here. And again, like I like this. I like this brand. Everything's 4 stars and above for me for the rest of this. Like I
really
enjoy this. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
But I am going to play Scream 2 here.
Oh, absolutely not. That's not happening at 4.
It's not happening here.
No way. I'm not even going to talk about it because we're gonna veto this. We're gonna bump it up.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Really. Scream 2? Are you serious?
Yeah.
No way. No way.
Again, like I like these all. I just like the other ones more.
Okay, not happening. Sorry, dude.
Okay. All right. That's
we'll
fair.
we'll both play our vetoes back to back, and I honestly get a little more testy than I thought we would.
So, I mean, same.
So you're a big fan of 6 then, because I thought you would just put 6 here.
Well, I mean, that is what I'm going to do now, because I'm going to put it here.
Nice. Okay.
I would swap these. Like in my personal list, 6 is number 3. Scream 2 is number 4. So we're just going to swap those.
Okay. Interesting.
So I will play 6 here. We've talked about it. We don't need to like ramble on too much more, but I love the New York setting. There's some fantastic scenes in here. Just like the bodega scene is kind of cool. The subway scene is very cool. I love all the Halloween masks.
Bodega scene is great. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff here. So, and I think this is our first one that has a 3-person ghost face, which is kind of interesting too.
That's what I'm saying.
We get it again in 7 to much lesser returns, but yeah. So yeah, 6 here.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of what they do with the Ghostface mask the first time that we see it, because we don't know that it is like Billy Loomis's and Stu Macher's mask. And so I love the first reveal where it's like old and decrepit and like basically crumbling. I think that's really cool to do and like adds some juice to this movie. I don't know if you recall when Scream 6 was coming out, this is like the movie that had the best movie posters we've seen in a very long time. They did some really, really good stuff. I don't know. I just feel like we could have done a little bit more. And part of my problem with like some of these things is you get reveals that are just like not super payoff. Like they're like, oh no, like Hannah Tierra's character is back, Kirby. And they're like, Kirby's definitely the killer. And then she comes out and she's like, I'm not the killer, which I get it. Like the distrust thing. I just want to know who the killer is. And I just want it to have value. You know? Yeah. I feel like I'm getting jerked around too much on some of these movies.
That's totally fair. I do think some of that stuff works here, especially when, you know, like, oh, she hasn't worked in our office for 6 months. Like, oh, wait, is Kirby the killer? Like that.
Okay.
Could be for sure.
That would never happen. This is the thing. In no world, it is an FBI agent like, let's look into this person after I've already revealed all the details of an ongoing murder investigation.
Yeah. I mean, what are you gonna do?
Then what's the deal with her character? What's the deal with Kirby? She got discharged from the FBI 2 months ago. She shows up in Woodsboro, but then she shows up and at the end is like, I'm not the killer. I'm trying to help you kill the killer. But I thought we just established that she's mentally unwell.
Yeah.
So why was she discharged from the FBI in the first place?
I guess she's mentally unwell, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea.
I don't know, man. It's annoying because the bodega sequence is really, really good. The subway sequence is really, really good.
Yeah.
Okay. We're on the top
6.
3 already.
So
we got Scream 6 there at number 4. What am I going to go with here? Let's go. We got to go back to the list. We got to go back. So much research for such a small amount of movies. This is interesting. I know I said that the position I got was kind of the lesser position. I kind of control the top 3, Ben.
In a sense, yeah, you do.
And you have no veto.
Yeah.
That's
you can get wild right now if you want.
I could get You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. I'm not going to get nuts because that would be just a tragedy. I am going to do something that I feel like is mildly nuts. And I'm going to stand by this. So in the number 3 spot, I'm going to be putting Scream 4.
I'm disappointed. I wish I had another veto. This is
okay.
Wait.
Do you want to talk about this? Do you want to talk about this then?
No, I like when the game plays out the way you want it to play out. Like if you want to play it here, you can play it here.
Well, now you have me, but you have me second guessing. Hold on, you have me second guessing. Can I withdraw for a moment?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. So, Scream 2 opens with Jada Pinkett Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Great opening. Obviously, Omar Epps. I think one of the most iconic openings of this movie.
Yeah. Speaking to the rack scene earlier, Jenny McCarthy was just like, everyone has the mask, so who is it? Is it anybody? Yeah.
Could be anybody. I think, interestingly enough, Scream 4 probably actually has the best opening of any movie. This is where we get the kind of Russian nesting doll sequence of girls watching Stab, and then it's like Inception, and there's girls watching Stab, and then they die again, which I think is really great. Truthfully, outside of Scream 1 is the only time this franchise has been like, let's fuck around a little bit and have some fun.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked. I'm looking at my review for Scream 2 here.
I enjoy this one because it's a decade later. Like we were returning. This was kind of like the first reboot of like, all right, well, can we do Scream again? Because Scream 3 came out in what, 2000? Or 2000?
Yeah. So let's look.
Yeah, 2000.
Scream 3, 2000.
So it's been 11
years.
11 years. Going back, it's like, oh, okay. Wow. So we got to introduce new people. And I think it works well with like the family connection. I think Emma Roberts is fantastic in this.
Okay. Wait. Let's backtrack then. Let's put Scream 2 here.
Okay.
Let's put Scream 2 in the 3 spot, and then we can all get what we want.
Cool.
I think that's the way to go. I think Scream 2 in the 3 spot. Let's wait a second and talk about Scream 4 in a minute. So I really like Scream 2. Like I mentioned, I think the phone call and the van set piece where we get in the big open areas. This is kind of the first sequence where we're just like, there's a lot of people on phones. Like, who could it be? This is where Randy dies.
Yeah.
In pretty iconic fashion, in my opinion. A really good explanation from him. Great classroom sequence in the beginning about what a sequel is and what it can do. I think Liev Schreiber in this movie turns into an absolute one-liner machine in the last 30 minutes where he's just rifling off camp one-liners, which I think is really, really fun. Timothy Olyphant, too good-looking to be a Ghostface.
Yeah, one of the better-looking ones for sure.
Definitely one of the better-looking ones. Laurie Metcalf turning in Academy Award winning stuff in this movie, in my opinion.
Good. So
she is all out as Billy Loomis's mom. And yeah, I guess I like this because like we're doing something interesting with Sydney that we eventually do with Sam, which is like, how is this affecting the way that you view yourself in the world, and like how she's auditioning for this stage play. And we get a little like kind of, again, like a little bit of Giallo homage with everybody wearing these masks and like the lighting and all of these really interesting things. Heather Graham in the Stab movies, incredible casting.
So good. Yeah.
Really good. Who comes up as a question later on, I think in 5,
I believe. Yeah.
I think in 5 when
opening
Jenna
with Jenna Ortega. Yeah.
Really good stuff. What do you like about 2?
Oh, this has what I think it did really well on the first watch is like creating seeds of doubt in everybody. Like even, going back to the well of like, oh, is it her boyfriend again? Like it could be Jerry O'Connell. I don't know, and even until the end when Oliphant's kind of like, hey, you made me do that. Like there's seeds of doubt there the whole time, which I think is really, really good. This honestly, if I was breaking down every Ghostface sequence, this would have a top 3 sequence for me in this movie. And for me, it's when they are in the cop car and Ghostface is passed out in the front and they have to crawl over him to get out of the car.
So
To
good.
me, that's like top tier thriller, like suspense sequence. It's fantastic. I think it
Yep.
plays so well. And then just like the dumbest death when she's like, what? And it's just like just gets killed immediately. It's kind of wild. But I think that might have been our first like shoot him in the head sequence or
Yeah.
oh, I want to go back and see who it is, which is just like, no, don't do that. But that's a
Yeah.
lot of that happens in these movies. Like, don't go do that. Like just stay where you are. So awesome soundproof sequence, you know, when they can't yell when
So
Dewey's
good.
yeah, they're Dewey and Gale are trying to like get each
In the
other,
booth.
yeah,
Yeah.
get the attention of Ghost Faces in there. Like again, very creative ideas of how this could all work. And yeah, Laurie Metcalf is just Laurie Metcalf. She's fantastic.
Yeah. She's really good. I mean, I think the franchise moves in the right direction with the sequel.
Mhm.
I think it moves in the right direction, connects to Billy, rehashes the boyfriend situation, is like sowing seeds of doubt in everybody. I think it does the right things for sure.
Yeah,
Okay. So yeah, Scream 2. I really like Scream 2. I think it's a good, like, I think it's a fun, good movie.
for
Actually.
sure. Yeah, it's a great sequel.
Okay. So that's at 3. You've got the 2 spot, Ben.
Well, I mean, we just talked about it. Let's do Scream 4. I mean, there's an obvious one, and I wouldn't even for jokes play it here. Like, it's got to be a number one for sure. But
Right.
yeah, Scream 4 and number 2, like, it was a good return to the trilogy or a good return to the franchise after like 10 years being gone. I think the motivation makes sense, like with the family and jealousy, all that kind of stuff, like, or wanting just to be famous. That ending sequence, like her killing the other ghost face first, it's like, oh shit, okay, she just wants to
Yeah.
solve for herself. She's like, I just want
So
to be
good.
famous, and then beating herself up. You know, like that's a wonderful
Like
sequence as
banging her
well.
head into the wall is so
Yeah.
intense.
Yeah, it's done so well. Putting the knife in her shoulder, like yeah, it's.
Ugh.
I think it works all around. I really like this one quite a bit. So yeah, I'm glad this is here
Yeah.
number 2.
I think part of what Emma Roberts brings to this as Jill Roberts, who is Ghostface ultimately, I think that she kind of, if I remember correctly, she's basically like being wheeled to the ambulance,
Mhm.
and a bunch of people are taking photos of her because they think she's a victim. And she kind of has like this Pearl thing going on where she's like, I'm a star. I did
Yeah.
it. And that is what is so interesting to me about Scream 4, where it is still hearkening back to this idea of like, I want to be involved in this legacy somehow, and I need to find a way to get into it. And we're just going to like redo it, but I'm smarter than all the other ghost faces. And so I'm going to get away with this, and I'm going to be famous. I'm going to be a survivor.
Mhm.
That's definitely what 7 doesn't have. I think 5 and 6 are lacking in that a little bit because of the continuation of like this kind of new set of ideas we're doing. But she brings something really good to that character that makes it interesting. Rory Culkin, I think is
Great.
really good stuff. His friend Robbie in this movie, who's just like live streaming all the time.
Yeah.
Wonderful stuff.
I love it. And I think they use it well, like with his camera, like on his kill, you know, when he's like looking and he's got the camera facing behind him and stuff. And
So good.
like, what am
My
I
guy's
looking at?
blackout
Like,
drunk, and he's just like, I'm an
blackout.
idiot.
Yeah, it's just super blackout. But all the cameras, even like the party, the screen,
Yeah.
the stab fest, you know, and Gail's trying to set up her cameras. Like, yeah, I think
Really good.
the technology gets used really well here.
Yeah, and I think it's actually smart. This movie takes some small risks. I wish they were a little bit bigger, but it takes some small risks that I think pay off. And one of those small risks is Hayden Panettiere's character Kirby not letting in Charlie, who is
Mhm.
basically someone that she was like starting to hook up with a little bit, ends up being an accomplice, Ghostface,
Yeah.
and really hammers home that idea of like, don't trust anybody. And she's like, I was just about to kiss you, but I also don't trust you. I'm not going to let you in. And then like 10 minutes later, we're like, damn, that was really smart. Good for you for not letting him in. He's a killer.
Yeah.
I just don't see any of the current installments or any future installments like doing something like that matters.
Yeah. And I
yeah.
only can recall this because I just recently watched it, but like she does it in 6 with like the dude across the hall that she's hooking up with at the very end. Like you
Yeah.
can't come in, like you're not part of the Woodsboro group, and like I kind of get that, but yeah, to your point, there's a lot of bad decisions made throughout these movies.
Yeah. Great Anna Paquin shout
yeah.
in the beginning of this movie too.
Yeah.
Really good stuff. Allison Brie is just like, write more books, please. Make more
Mhm.
money.
Yeah,
Which I
her
think is
kill
really
is
funny.
great. Like, yeah, so good.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Scream 4 there has been like a reclamation of it leading up to some of these Scream movies where people are like, oh, they did well. And we agree on this. But of course, at number one is Scream. This is it was always going to be Scream, never not going to be the original Scream. It's the best. It spawned a franchise for a reason. Completely changed the genre. Like I mentioned at the top of the pod, like what I think is the most important thing about this is like actually kills Drew Barrymore in the first 10 minutes of this movie. That's important. And has just great sequences. Like all start to finish is a classic.
Yeah. This is a fantastic rewatch, but it is like a marvelous first watch when you don't know that there's two of them, and then we get that reveal. It's like, oh my god, that's how they were in both places, you know, like because this also does a good job of like, well, who's the killer? Because you know Billy was there, so obviously it wasn't him, and you know it was Stu, all that kind of stuff. So they created something really special that I think lives on in quite a few of these. Unfortunately kind of fell off, I think, on this most recent one, but this one had to be number one. Otherwise I would never return on this podcast. So yeah, I'm glad it's here.
Wow. I'm glad we avoided that. One important thing to note, I think, about Scream 1 initially that I actually think goes hand in hand with conversations that we had on the show about Wuthering Heights, conversations that are kind of happening around Wuthering Heights and Emerald Fennell as a filmmaker, is this interesting idea of if you have sex, you will die. Now, this has always been a very important core idea of horror movies, teenage horror movies. I mean, obviously it happens in even stuff now. Like I think done really well. I don't think it's done so well in Wuthering Heights. I think it's, of course, done very well in Scream.
Yeah.
And is really incredible stuff from Billy to just be like, I'm good. I'm also really horny. So you got to hook it up.
Exactly.
Which I think is really funny. Shout out Nev Campbell for just being one of the most gorgeous people alive in this movie. It's ridiculous. And yeah, it's just a certified great movie.
Yeah, 5 stars for me. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. I got it at 4.5 stars, but it's got a heart, you know? So
yeah, I'll take that.
It's like a 4.9 in my heart.
I love it.
Well, we did it. We completed the Scream collaborative draft here on the Movie Draft Pod. At number 7, Scream 7. At number 6, Scream 3. At number 5, Scream 2022. How are we putting this on the graphic? Is it Scream 2022?
Yeah,
Scream 5?
I guess that's how they have it technically, but I think we all know it is Scream 5. But
yeah, Scream 2022. We'll go with that. At number 4 is Scream 6. At number 3, Scream 2. At number 2, Scream 4. And at number 1, Scream. So my idea of possibly going down the list in order of number didn't happen except for 1 or 7.
Yeah.
Which I think we knew was going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the middle part was the interesting part for sure.
Do you feel good about this list?
Yeah, honestly, like if you swap 2 and 6, this is my exact list. So I feel great about it. Like,
wow.
Yeah, I was
good.
Looking at the ones that I was referencing. I've got 1, 4, 6, 2, 5, 3, 7. So I'm super happy with this list.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, we're swapped a little bit. I've got 1, 2, 4, 5, 3, 6, and 7.
Okay.
It's interesting that my list is 1 and 2 in the 1 and 2 spot, and 6 and 7 in the 6 and 7 spot.
Yeah, you just mixed up that middle.
Yeah, that's really fascinating. Well, I feel pretty good about this. I don't feel really great about where the Scream franchise is headed as a whole. Of course, we will most likely be getting a Scream 8. It wouldn't surprise me if in the 12 hours between recording this and releasing this, we get news that Scream 8 has been greenlit after this weekend. But nonetheless, Scream, iconic horror franchise for a reason. Ghostface lives on. We'll see Scream 8, I'm sure. And maybe we'll have to re-Scream at that point in time. Maybe we'll do a Ghostface draft for that.
I would like that. That'd be fun.
That would be
Ghostfaces.
That would be fun. Best Ghostfaces. And then one of our categories could be a dream Ghostface. Who you would want to be Ghostface.
I dig it.
I'm not going to write this down. And then in 18 months, when a new Scream comes out, someone will have to remind me.
Yes.
That's what I said to do.
Someone set a reminder, please.
Please, 18-month reminder if you could. Massive thank you to you, Ben, for co-hosting with me, creating this pod with me, talking Scream.
Yeah, it was fun. Old times, just me and you. I loved it.
Yeah, old times, just two dudes talking about horror movies. It's really, really fun stuff. Next week, not two dudes talking about horror movies, but two dudes and a guy and a girl talking about award season. We've got the 2026 Oscar Best Picture nominees collaborative draft with myself, Sophia Simonello, Giovanni Lago of Next Best Picture. We have already recorded that pod, so I can tell you, we tried to do better than last year. Gio was on with myself last year, and Casey Dunnifer, who did not join us this year. We tried to do better. I don't know if we did. So you might want to tune in because things got a little testy and things got a little out of sorts. And it's in a similar vein. There was only 10 movies to pick from, but we had to collaboratively draft them. And, friendships were broken. Let's just put it that way. Be sure to listen and subscribe to the Movie Draft Podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. We're also now on YouTube with video, so go subscribe to us over there. New episodes will be released weekly on Tuesdays. We'll see you then.